Welcome to Group 6's presentation on guidelines for estimating time, costs, and resources in projects. In today's dynamic and fast-paced business environment, successful project management relies heavily on accurate and efficient estimations. Whether you're working on a small-scale initiative or a large, complex project, the ability to forecast time, costs, and resources is crucial for project planning, budgeting, and overall success. So we will have 7 parts in this video, which include responsibility, the use of several people to estimate, normal conditions, time units, independence, contingencies, and lastly is risk assessment was added to the estimate to avoid surprises to stakeholders.
At the work package level, estimates should be made by the ones most familiar and experienced with the task. Here, I will give you guys 2 main examples. They can be first-line supervisors, or they can be technicians. The 3 main benefits of exploiting those who are responsible are that they can give the estimates on experience and best judgment. Second, they believe to materialize the estimates. Third, it is easy for them to build a communication network at an early stage.
It is well known that a cost or time estimate usually has a better chance of being reasonable and realistic when several people with relevant experience and/or knowledge of the task are used, sometimes called crowdsourcing. Here's an example to illustrate the concept. A company wants to estimate the cost of remodeling their office space. They decide to involve 3 individuals with relevant experience: an interior designer, a contractor, and a project manager. The interior designer estimates the cost to be $50,000 and explains that the estimate accounts for materials, furniture, and labor costs based on their experience with similar projects. The contractor estimates the cost to be $70,000. She points out that unforeseen structural issues could increase the cost, while the project manager highlights the need for contingency funds. The project manager estimates the cost to be $60,000 by emphasizing the need for contingency funds. Through their discussion, the group identifies potential areas of overlap and adjustment in their estimates. They agree that some costs were overlooked, and they consider factors like permits, electrical work, and additional design elements. After reaching a consensus, they agree on an estimated cost of $65,000 for the remodeling project. By involving multiple perspectives and discussing individual differences, the group arrives at a more comprehensive and realistic cost estimate that incorporates various considerations and reduces the likelihood of extreme estimate errors.
When estimating task time, cost, and resources for a project, it is important to make assumptions based on normal conditions, efficient methods, and a typical level of resources. In a software development project, the team estimates the completion time based on an 8-hour workday. They assume that developers will work for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, to calculate the project timeline and resource allocation. Another example is staffing levels. A healthcare organization estimates the time required for patient care activities in a hospital based on their normal staffing levels. They consider the typical number of doctors, nurses, and support staff available during each shift to determine the time needed for patient rounds, medical procedures, and administrative tasks.
Specific time units to use should be selected early in the development phase of the project network. All task time estimates need consistent time units. Estimates of time must consider whether normal time is represented by calendar days, work weeks, person days, single shift, hours, minutes, etc. In practice, the use of workdays is the dominant choice for expressing task duration. One of the particular examples of this is traffic accidents on the road. Projects here can be seen as transporting and rescuing patients. Since there were several life-endangering moves, minutes were used to ensure patient safety so that proper emergency life support systems would be available if needed. For surgeries, the appropriate time unit is minutes. For complex surgeries, the time unit can be hours. Another example is the construction projects of skyscrapers or large structures that take up to months or years. Building construction projects take a long time because the people who carry out the project need to prepare carefully and build firmly, step by step.
Coming to the independence part, as top managers are prone to aggregate many tasks into one-time estimates and then deductively make the individual task time estimates add to the total. This tendency does not reflect the uncertainties of individual activities and generally results in optimistic task time estimates. In summary, each task time estimate should be considered independently of other activities. It's quite clear, right? So we can come to the next section. Next is about the contingencies segment. So the main point of this is that work package estimates should not include allowances for contingencies. The estimate should assume normal or average conditions. Here, I have an example for you guys to understand more. In a house construction project, the project manager should calculate the related costs, such as labor costs, paperwork costs, construction material costs, etc. Applying to the contingencies theory, all these costs should be accounted for under normal conditions. It means no such phenomena as worker strikes, no project delay events.
It is obvious some tasks carry more time and cost risks than others. For example, a new technology such as VinFast electric car usually carries more time and cost risks than a proven process. Simply identifying the degree of risk lets stakeholders consider alternative methods and alter process decisions.